Hail and welcome to the Black Tower. I'm your host, your guide, your brother, the Sorcerer Armanasul. Hail and welcome, you beautiful motherfuckers. Alright, so I'm sorry, I usually put videos together a lot closer, a lot sooner than what I have been. But see, I've had spell work in motion for over a year now. And at any rate, it's just now coming to fruition. It's just now coming to manifestation, getting it, done. Now, it takes a lot of patience to do a spell that takes a year. Well, actually, technically, it could have took me two, but because of spell work, intention, effort, and so forth and so on, it's only taken a year, whereas it should have took a lot longer than that, which is really cool. Which brings me to the subject matter at hand, the concept of tonight's video. Magic, rituals, magical practice in general is not for the lazy. Now, now that I've got the dick wording of it out, let me go into that a little bit better because I don't want to be mistaken as an elitist or anything like that. But it's just kind of simple. It's like this right here. Uh, in life, if you want something, you have to go out and work for it. You have to actually do it, whether go get a job to get the money, or or whatever, But you got to put actual effort and work into it. Well, the thing about magic, and one of the cool, neat little nifty tricks of the way magic works is that you have to be willing to go out and do it before you ever do your magical spell casting. The reason why is because if you're not willing to get your hands dirty, if you're not willing to go out and do the work it would take physically to get something accomplished, then magic 9 times out of 10 is not really going to work for you in that sense. And I'm not saying that you can't just cast spells for things and, that, oh, well, that means it's not going to work. Well, no, it might work, but for magic to pop, for just to, just work and be astounding and effective in getting you exactly what you desire, you have to be willing to go out and do the physical things it takes. Talk to the right people, so forth and so on. And so it is in that spirit that I think that a lot of people in the magical community who are seen as elitist or jerks or know-it-alls or you know magic is for the strong, not the weak. Well, let's put that statement in English. Magic is for the strong, not the weak. Magic makes you stronger, but is it for the strong and not for the weak? Well, no, because it makes you stronger. Then if you're weak and you approached it, it would make you stronger. Therefore, that's a yeah, that's stupid. That makes no sense. But let's put it in English though. What would a statement like that actually mean? Uh, the stronger ones who are willing to go the miles. They're willing to go the distance it takes to accomplish their goals, their dreams, their desires. With this in mind, then you can understand where a saying like that comes from. Whereas in a lot of practices, you see people who are like, oh, well, I think I want this, and then I'll change your mind, and like they wonder why their spells fizzle or why something doesn't work out. The thing is you got to know yourself. You got to know who and what you are, what you're about, what you truly want, what you truly desire. And if you don't know, I would suggest sit down and find out. Do some soul searching, do some search your heart, search your mind. You know, and be brutally honest with yourself. If you're too lazy to do this or do that, well, then you better find a way around that. You know, I think it's interesting that the most powerful magic happens just on a whim, just like all of a sudden, like you'll laugh and you'll say, it'd be really funny if if I just found $100 bill, and you might mean it jokingly or something like that, and then all of a sudden, you find yourself, getting the money, and it takes you back to old school saying of, oft times the truth is said in jest. Well, part of the part of the arcane mysteries is learning how to speak your will or your intention into the universe with very little effort, very little work, but at the same time have the kind of power and strength and energy it takes to accomplish that desire. And so in this, if you really want powerful stuff, you've got to be willing to go the miles for it. You've got to be willing to wait a year or two, to do the spell work and the right moon phase uh, to remove the obstacles in your way in the right moon phase, so forth and so on. That's not tooting my own horn. That's just, I sincerely fucking want this thing that I'm after. So, of course I got to put it into work. Plus, I've got to do the things. I got to fill out the forms. I've got to do the work it takes, answer the phone calls, connect with the people, so forth and so on. But it's nothing that anybody else couldn't do. It's just, how long does it take you? Now, sometimes it's easier to go with the moon cycles, and the reason why you want to do this is like, knowing the planets of the different days of the week and whether the moon is in an increase or decrease, is so that in its decrease, use the planetary days to your advantage. You know, Mars to destroy your obstacles, Mercury to remove the naysayers or the negative thoughts or emotions or feelings or whatever, you know, Jupiter to remove your financial blocks, so forth and so on, you know, Saturn to remove the obstacles or the boundaries that are keeping you caged or keeping you held in place, you know, the Sun, to remove the negative influences surrounding what you're trying to change. And then in the moon's increase, the opposite, uh, to think, feel, and act in accord with your desire. Well, that's neither here nor there because I'm sure each and every single one of you know this. And I'm going to keep this a pretty short video. I have had a very busy week since last week. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness at the stuff I've had to do. And it makes me feel really bad that come nighttime I'm too tired, too wore out to do these videos and things. Interesting concept here is as of this month, I've been doing these videos on the Necronomicon and these different things for a year now. Now, it was funny because over a year ago, I was trying to accomplish a thing. And, I was like, I'm going to call some spirits and ask them for their help, their aid. Well, I knew this was going to be a long, arduous journey, that it wasn't just going to happen within a week or two or a month, even 2 or 3 months. I knew it was going to take a while. So when I called up the spirits and asked them for their help or their guidance, instead of offering just incense or some of my blood or my energy or, anything like that, I was like, hey, if you'll help me accomplish this desire, this want that I have, this goal, I will make videos explaining to the best of my ability everything I know about the Necronomicon so that others who have questions or wonders or whatever, so that they understand it from a different perspective, from a common everyday perspective. And with that in mind, a pact was made. Not one that was strictly enforced or anything, but because I was so honest and so serious in what I wanted, I made certain that I made at least one video a week, sometimes more, and a lot of times I didn't approach it like, oh, well, I owe this or, I've got to keep to my end of the bargain or anything like that. No. I approached it with a desire that, hell yeah, I want other people to understand this. I want these gods to come to life in their world and their life, to help change, their situations and things. And with that in mind, that's why I did this to begin with. Now I'm doing this because I love it. Plus I've met a lot of really cool people on here. I think the world of each and every one of you. Uh, but something I wanted to go over, maybe just kind of quickly, is with this Aries gate walking, the gate of Agru, working with Kingu. Uh, Ethan Ross had asked me a very interesting question I hadn't quite thought of. He was like, what made you choose the 23rd instead of 20th? And well, the simple question was because Aries doesn't officially start until after 12 o'clock my time on the 23rd. And and because I do follow stellar timing or celestial timing, I guess you could call it, because in the Necronomicon, it's all about celestial. Oh, the timing of this planet, this constellation, that constellation. So that's why, you know, uh, which I appreciate all all the questions and the feedback each and every one of you have over my different videos and things. Uh, Next thing I'd like to discuss is, well, you do your gate walking like in the last video where I told how to do it, and then it's like, what does it happen, Well, here's an interesting concept. What you want to do is you want to take the stone with your constellation on it, and you want to meditate on it at least once a day. You want to do this for about 5, 10, 15 minutes. Here's my pretty little rock. Got it all painted up, consecrated, and everything, been sitting there gathering charge. I was careful about the day, the time, the influences, and everything else. When I sat and I made it, I took my time with it, but the importance isn't what I do. It's just, it means that much to me. It's going to be that powerful of a tool for me. And to do that, I have to put my power into it. I have to pour myself into it. And, I'd hope that you do the same thing or feel the same way about your own craft. With that being said, so what you would do for at least once a day, for about 5 to 10 minutes, sit down in your favorite asana or posture. Work on your prana, different breathing, whether, 4 count, 3 count, 7 count, 8 count, whatever. Whatever solidifies your mind and your psyche and your core into your working. And just visualize the dark space and the constellation that you had drawn upon the stone. See it before you. And just bask in the glow. Kind of like when you sit there at night and you're staring at the moon and it's so beautiful and full and you can just feel its rays on you. You want to do the same thing with the constellation. You want to do this at least 5 to 10 minutes a day. And call upon and ask Kingu to guide you to learn the lessons of the constellation. Now, the important thing about this is that you will become to embody Kingu and become Kingu yourself, the commander of the armies of Tiamat. And the way to do that is to at least that's what I said, magic is not for the lazy. Yeah, you got to set aside time that you're going to be doing this stuff, Like you may have a hectic day, you might be busy, you might be tired, you might be this, that, and the other. But take 5 to 10 minutes out of your day. That's really not much time when you think about it. And just sit down and see yourself standing before the constellation in space, staring at it, just basking in the glow of the energies. What will happen is you will start to become subtly infused with that constellation's power and with its energies, with its influences, so forth and so on. And you will become to subtly change. And that is the goal of this. And that's why we do this once a day. I would suggest either do it first thing in the morning or at night, or do it both if you have time and you feel like doing that, And try to keep notes on everything that you experience and you feel. And because I haven't seen any videos at all about walking the Azanai gates, let alone how to create them or make them. As far as I know, I'm first, maybe. I don't know. I'm going to continue to make videos to maybe tell my experiences, maybe. Because it's not really about me, it's about you. But, I will, say, well, I found this worked or this didn't work. Or, maybe maybe something new came to me and I tried it. I'll be more than glad to share it with you. Also, I would love to hear responses of how well it worked for you. With that being said and done, I want to wish each and every one of you peace, blessings, and power.